It's much too early, or it's far too late. Maybe I'm too old now, or just afraid that you'll walk away. Too close, but too far away. It's much too early, or it's far too late. Maybe I'm too old now, or just afraid that you'll walk away. You're across the room from me, but it's an ocean wide, and the current's pulling us, dragging me aside. Or you're a constellation, and I'm just a star, blinking in the universe, but you'll never notice me at all.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to Mini RPG of the Week. It's Season 3. It is Week 2, and I am here alone with a sore throat, sitting in Space Conveyance, last week's map by Black Pulse, to bring you tonight's action. We'll see how far we get before my voice completely gives out on me, hopefully all the way to the end. But, you know, there's no guarantees, and maybe a few voice cracks along the way will just add to the entertainment. Tonight's map, brought to us by Histo, looking set to be a very exciting one indeed. With this guest mapper, we are going to be reverting to the standard format as we have so often done. 15 minutes of time attack. I say time attack, but really it's just a warm up, a chance for players to get to know the map that they've never seen, that we've never seen, and figure out exactly what they are doing on it, after which we will be into our usual cup of the day style knockout. I gotta say, looking forward to tonight's map. It's been a little while since we've seen a map by Histo. If we must have seen a map by Histo at this point in Mini RPG of the Week's life cycle, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is the first one. It's over 50 maps at this point. It's a lot to keep straight in one head, and honestly, I barely even try. I do not know what I'm saying half the time, and honestly, I think that is, well, for the best. I'm not sure it could get any better. I'm not sure it could get any worse. And either way, well, we'll be underway onto this map for the warm-up in a little while. I am completely alone for the moment, and unfortunately my game has decided it does not want to run on particularly high settings, and that means that for the first little while of this warm-up, things are going to look scuffed, but they will get better. We're going to regain Deployer at some point in the middle of the warm-up, at which point we'll swap over to his POV so he can do the observing. I can focus on the casting and also make a fool of myself as I attempt to swap over the stream to his POV very quickly. But in the meantime, you're going to be stuck with me. In the meantime, well, we'll see how things go. Probably not well, if I had to take a quick guess, but I'm sure it'll work itself out sooner rather than later. And we're going to see who manages to pull this one off. We're going to see how many players show up for week 2 of season 3 as well. Turnout at the start of season 3, we had about 50 players last week. We'll see if we're up, see if we're down, see if we're all around or doing the hokey pokey. I don't know. At some point you do just start saying songs. At least I do. And that's not on purpose. It's just my brain struggling to fire connections. Those poor few neurons firing wildly in the darkness, coming up with random connections to things that don't make any sense at all. if I could tell you who won last week's, the first week of Season 3, I would, and I can tell you it was Hazard, starting off Season 3 in style with a win on Black Pulse's map over a fairly strong field on what was a relatively technical map, I think, in the end. One that required a lot of transitional jumping, one that required kind of a lot of RPG driving, just in the sense of getting your jumps onto angled platforms correctly and keeping it tight. And I've definitely played a few in that style before. I think definitely what springs to mind when I think of that kind of driving is some of the maps that were produced by Frontier for their artifact competitions along the way as well, specifically the ones for the live competition, shorter RPGs as they were, a lot of fast driving, a lot of precise driving. That's what we started the season off with. We're going to see how things go when we move on to Histo's map. We're going to see what Histo has in store for us. He has named the map Castle of Histo, remaining very humble on that one, and look, there's a certain je ne sais quoi about naming your map after yourself, a certain level of confidence that you have to admire. As players are loading into it now, I'm loading into it now, and as soon as we do load into it, we'll jump over to game, but we're not loaded into it yet. Has my game crashed? It's a distinct possibility. It doesn't look like it though. You can't see it, but I can see that we have loaded in, and my god, what a start that is. As we'll jump across to the in-game. The scoreboard's in the way, but I can assure you there is a very, very cool looking castle behind it. I hope my audio is still coming through. I hope nothing has gone horrifically wrong. Oh, we're going to load back away from the map instead. Well, that was short-lived. I hope everyone enjoyed Mini RPG of the Week, Season 3, Week 2. Oh my god. Wow. It's a castle. You know what? He has correctly named it. It is the Castle of Histo. I could press enter to start playing, but I'm kind of just sitting here enjoying our raft in the front. I'm going to hit enter. What it's done is started the stream for me because I clicked on that over on the other screen. I'm going to click onto the screen, and we're jumping in. I can't see nothing, but here we go, underway. Let's jump on board with Ain't No Way. Nope, we've jumped into his profile. I know what I'm doing. Leave me alone. Someone in chat has already said TM2 vibes. They're absolutely right. Stunning scenery so far. I mean, just incredible. I'm sure there's some players who have gone over towards the GPS, wherever it may be hidden. So we'll jump on board with Bueno for the time being, for a bit of a discovery run. That looks like it might be dirt. That's a little bit of a bug slide onto the dirt. This is strong. Very, very strong TM2 vibes indeed. I love it. Absolutely spectacular. And Histo has promised, or threatened, depending on how tonight goes, that he will be planning to use this castle in another map in the future, potentially a slightly longer one as well. Obviously, here on Mini RPG of the Week, the map has been limited to about a minute in length, and Histo does reckon that about a minute and 1 second will be a strong time for any of these players in rounds, but is threatening a longer map as well in future on this castle. And you know what? I can't blame him for wanting to reuse it, because, I mean, just look at it. Just look at this place. It's great. It looks fantastic, and it's looking very drivable as well. More RPG-esque maybe than some of the mini RPGs that we've had in the past. Not just stylistically, not just in the fact that it is clearly all handcrafted with care, but just in terms of the driving. A lot of relatively slow turnarounds, some bonks, some hits, having to just, you know, drive your way through. And it is going to be a map that is going to be very fun to watch drivers start to optimize. Let's get on board with Hazard. 2 minutes into our warm-up here, and he is cruising through the castle, doing a little bit of pathfinding on this one. It's going to be a fun one if you don't want to look at the GPS for this one, for sure, but also I could see it getting not particularly confusing. It looks fairly well, not signposted, but at least clear on where you should be going next. But still, just with the aesthetics going on here, a little bit more discovery than maybe in some previous maps, as Hazard will go for the turnaround and has guessed incorrectly. The classic engineer's problem, the engineer's issue of a 50-50-90. If you have a 50-50 chance, you're going to get it wrong 90% of the time. And there is the finish. Hazard setting a time of 2:20. That is the first local record. It has taken 2 minutes for anyone to manage to finish this map, and Hazard is going to roll slowly backwards into the GPS. And why don't we do the same thing? If I jump out of spectator mode here, look, there's my lovely Irish car. We've not loaded in my Guinness skin. And let's have a quick look at what Histo has driven for us here. As we go around this first corner, it is into the water and a little bit of a bug slide. It's very, very short bug slide. And I can imagine that potentially exit speed there is going to decide a lot, because it guides you all the way along that relatively long straight. Not a very long straight in the grand scheme of things, but relatively long for this map, and into a second bug slide as well. So exit from that first bug slide is going to be very important. In fact, look, I may be saying that, and I've just realized that Histo did say that in his notes as well. So I guess either on the same page, or I'm shamelessly stealing the notes without remembering it. And either way, I guess Histo knows his own map. Who would have thought? Who would have known? The other section that he said potentially to watch out for is the flip after checkpoint 4. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't fully internalized exactly where the checkpoints are just yet, hidden as they are and unclear as they are on a GPS. The checkpoint counter at the bottom of our screen still sitting at 0 because my car is still somewhere just fallen off the back of the start line. And here we'll just head back into the trees. I mean, look, let's just appreciate the map for a second here as I head back into spectator mode. Cam 7? Nope, can't cam 7. It's unfortunate. Probably could, don't know what I'm doing. But we'll stay on board with Follower to Pork. Why not? It has taken us here when I press the 7 button. And they will also be taking the 50-50-90 and going directly the wrong way. 50-50 guess, wrong this time. This time around, heading to the left side. Voleur de Pork is on a 3-minute discovery run at the moment, having maybe arrived a minute or two late, and will be now heading towards the line. We can see, I wouldn't necessarily call it a risky finish, but you do have to decide if you want to launch yourself off that beam as early as possible. A couple of seconds potentially to be shaved off there if you do, not a couple of seconds, a couple of tenths to be shaved off if you do launch yourself off that beam a little bit early. And there's going to be the slide out from Voleur de Pork. I can imagine we'll be seeing a few of those, especially in early rounds. Maybe not from our Thief of Pigs here, but potentially from some other players. As times on the leaderboard are now down well below the 2-minute mark, but it is only down as far as a 140. Really only 4 players getting below that mark so far. 1:01 the time still, as expected by our mapper Histo once we get into the live rounds to be a very solid time. And we do still have 10 minutes to get there. But players definitely are taking a couple of minutes here to kind of warm up, to get into this one, to figure out exactly what is going on. Ooh, we have some Irish players joining the server. We love to see a bit of Babs joining in. We'll see what he makes of this map once he starts to drive it, once he figures out exactly what is going on with this one. See how far he can get on this. As I've said, my throat is in shambles. My sinuses feel like they're on fire at the moment. And so if I do stop talking or make any disgusting sounds at any point, I'm sorry. You're just going to have to deal with it, I guess. But that's the way of the things. Sometimes you get slightly sick and feel horrific for it. But you know what? We'll survive. We'll make it through together, everyone. Because the power of friendship may not win you any races in Trackmania, at least in this format. But it will carry us forward. I've found one of the checkpoints. It's that one right there. Voleur de Pork respawning at it, and that's an awkward respawn if you do end up crashing it a little bit. I have been told that our observer may be arriving. Oh my god. Deployer is not in the building. We're not in the same building. We do not live in the same country, but he is in my DMs, and in many ways that's kind of better. Can I adjust my stream to 6,000 kilobits per second? Not while I'm live. I don't think it's the stream's fault. I'm pretty sure it's my game. My game is ass right now. It looks like ass. That's on the game. All right. For the bitrate. Oh, for the bitrate, I can change it while I'm live. I'm telling you, man. I think it's fine. The bitrate is at 6,000 kilobits per second. It is my in-game that is an issue. So, you know, do with that information what you will. I don't know if Deployer is actually listening. If you are, you heard that. If not, I probably should message you back. But either way, that's just them's the breaks. That's how it is right now. Try 7 twice while spectating. It seems to work for some reason. Maybe. He can hear me. It's great. I'm going to try pressing 7 twice. It worked. And then, but I'm frozen. I can't move. Oh, there we go. I can if I use the arrow keys instead of WASD. Look at this map. It's gorgeous. You can just about see the edges of the stadium off to the side there. But if we don't look that way, nobody look at the signs. It's fine, okay? Everyone ignore the signs. Oh, there's signs everywhere. Oh, dear. But look at this castle. God, if my game was running better, I bet this would look real good. We can just turn off all of the overlay, except the player names. I can turn them off too. Look at this place. Gorgeous. Isn't it absolutely wonderful? We love it. Well, I genuinely do love the styling on this map. I love the castle, and I'm looking forward to potentially playing this myself, and definitely playing whatever second map Histo does put out on this one too, with the decision being made that he is going to make a slightly longer one. Should be a lot of fun exploring even more of the castle on the way through, as Ice will set a time of 1:03. We jump on board just to see the finish on that one, but not to see the run that led to it. So let's follow through Ice as he continues his warm-up, as he continues to figure things out, starting to work out this grass slide a little bit, on sand though it may be, and deciding that was not the exit he wanted from it either. This start, even just interesting. That first turn, I mean, I'd imagine potentially trying to manage the gear, or at least not lose too much speed on the exit as you start off immediately on what looks like grass, maybe dirt underneath. Who knows? Textures being messed with messes with my brain. And, well, driving would probably make it a little bit easier to determine exactly what's going on there, but maybe not all that much easier. The potential to carry too much speed over some of these early sections could turn out to be an issue. You could see Ice with poor aim at the start there, sliding straight into a wall. They changed the game option. Yes, there was a UI update. These are facts. These are things that happened. Obviously, Deployer not paying very close attention to Trackmania on Twitter. I don't know. Maybe just a skill issue on that one. But I don't know. I'm not going to throw any shade for the time being, as Ice is keeping things tight through the middle section map, up on this freewheel across the bridge. And there's an issue. If you do not carry enough speed into that bridge by getting a little bit too aggressive with your drifts and your turns earlier, it's going to be a respawn a long way back, and that is going to be a problem. Ice, despite having, well, the second best time on the server, Histo has shown up in order to set the best time on the server. Ice is struggling a little bit in order to manage some of these turns, manage speed throughout the course of the track, and I think that is going to be the name of the game tonight, is speed management, making sure you have enough at the right places, making sure you do not have too much speed at certain sections as well. Are we going to see Histo fully drive in tonight's competition? Is Histo going to pull off the Gigabrain move of entering a map for Mini RPG of the Week simply so that he can win a week of Mini RPG of the Week? It'd be genius. It could make so much sense. I think it's a great plan, and I guess we'll see if that is the decision. As with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left, nice, we are going to get Deployer in observing at some point. I think he's still messing with some game options, and I have heard nothing since, but I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure his PC has not spontaneously set on fire again. Probably A-okay. Ice is on a run that he doesn't hate this time, it looks like. Well, never mind, he's going to hate that, and straight into a wall means straight back to that start line. I apologize for jinxing the warm-up run, but at least it was only a warm-up run, and I'll do my best not to do it when we get into live rounds, as we'll see where Mean finishes off with this run. It is going to be a 1:09, it looks like, and that is, well, good enough for 10th place still on the server. Players struggling to break down within that 110 mark at the moment. 11th place still not done, and only 10 players on the server inside that 110 mark, inside 70 seconds, and only 3 minutes now remain in our warm-up. Can I join a Discord channel so I can hear you without delay? Do you know what, Deployer? For you, I absolutely can. I've joined a Discord channel, and it should be up, so if I can tell you it does not appear to be up in my OBS, but I don't know how to reload it. What if I click OK, and then I click OK? The RTMP link is set into a media source at the moment. It don't work. It ain't there. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. It ain't nothing. There ain't nothing. It's a disaster. Do I need to be connected to the VPN? Is that something I should have done in advance? Great question, isn't it? No. Well, I've tried nothing and I am all out of ideas. I could try adding a new media source. Ooh. But I can't imagine that'd work. It's not a local file. Okay. 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 Hang on a second here. Maybe if I add a new file, and this is the input. I don't know. I don't know. Deployer for you, I'm going to stream my screen in Ninja. Oh, never mind. You know, just classic figuring out production on the fly. A little pulling back of the curtain to reveal the secrets that go on behind the scenes, where I am truly inept and being carried by people much smarter than I am at this kind of thing. I didn't need to qualify that statement. I didn't need to say it this kind of thing. I did, but I don't think I needed to. I think I could have just left it being carried by people much smarter than me. But, you know what? I didn't. And that's maybe a problem for me. Maybe something I need to examine in myself. I won't, but maybe I should. Definitely worth a thought, as Mean will be vibing on through the map. We've just been following for a while here as I try to figure out what's going on. I have no further instructions from Deployer, so I'm just going to assume I'm doing everything perfectly and carry on, Honey. Honey in this case being me. Good job, me. As Mean will turn around. That little turnaround, I believe, is the turnaround after checkpoint 4 that Histo was talking about, because you can definitely see that it is going to be an area where players can lose or gain some time on the way through. With 30 seconds left on the clock, one last look down the leaderboards. Ice has managed to overtake Histo on that leaderboard. Hazard all the way up at the top, though, could be looking to continue his run of being the only player to have won a week in Mini RPG of the Week Season 2. Maybe just win all 25 editions. Maybe that's the play that Hazard is looking for this week. This season. And if so, I respect it. I respect it massively. I'd be mighty impressed. There's still a long way to go before our Season 3 finale, but we are going to get one step closer tonight. Season 3, Week 2, about to kick off here on the Castle of Histo. And I don't want to know what goes on in the dungeon, but I'm sure it's all very wholesome things here on the Castle of Histo. And we are underway with our warm-up round. No eliminations this time around. Only 37 players in the server this week, and that's disappointing. More people should be here to witness the majesty of this castle. And we'll jump on board with the leaders for this warm-up round as well, where Jozo was off to a great start but has crashed out. The exit from that section of dirt is definitely going to be an issue. We saw Ice struggling with it a couple of times during the warm-up, and here has managed to catch up to Marius with a little bit more speed. This flip, this turnaround, who does it work out for? And the answer is, best of all, Mean coming through directly on that one. There is plenty of time to be gained and lost throughout this map. It is a mini RPG of the week in the truest sense of the word, where near every turn, every jump is going to matter when it comes down to these final rounds. You will not be able to keep things safe or unsafe, and either way, I don't know, Deployer, no, it's just not there. It's not that it's lagging, it's not that it's slow, it's just not there, I think. Unless it is there and it's just not showing because it's unloaded. Close file when inactive? No. Uncheck. It is unchecked. I can tell you it's unchecked. It is not checked. I'm just gonna look. We'll transition to the scene and we'll see what happens. Okay, so there may be a stinger, nothing happens. There may be a stinger and all of a sudden we see Deployer's POV. Let's give it a go. Nothing happened. Well, up the network buffering. It is currently on 6 megabytes. I can go higher. I will go higher. To 10 megabytes we go. That seems very high. It's very, very high. Will it work? Who knows? We'll try the transition one more time and it will bring us directly into our first elimination round. That to me still looks like my screen, and well, that's a disaster. Histo has DNF'd the first round. The mapper choosing not to take his unfair advantage, or maybe not wanting to be shown up on their own map. Either way, it means we will not be playing with the player who's currently third on the local times leaderboard after our warm-up, and we'll stay on board with the players who are near the back. There are 2 DNS. Zebeka just not coming through yet. Slither trying to make their way through the field from the back and is struggling on that uphill. That accelerator not doing enough work on the grass, with slightly damp wheels potentially as well, hindering the uphill effort. But he's going to be just cruising through the map, and plenty of respawns coming through in front, including from resident admin Black Pulse, who is struggling a little bit on this freewheel section. Enough speed from both these players. Yes, they make it over the bridge, and surely they've overtaken enough players. Yes, they have, to be safe for the time being. Zebeka is still DNF'd back at the start. Zach Chrome is struggling to make his way through the field, and I am going to screenshot my tab for deployer. That's right, we do everything on the fly here. I'm very good at my job. Lol. What a lie I tell. If only to make myself feel better. I don't know whether to feel happy. I think insulted at the fact that Deployer did not think that I knew how to take a screenshot on my computer, but I will choose to feel insulted by it. I did not predict how many players were going to finish this time around. With a late prediction, I'm going to predict 35 players will all make it. No, 34 players will make it through, and we'll finish without 5 players. Okay, I cheated. Look, I cheated. We all know that I cheated here on this one, because I could see 35 players finished, or 34 players finished, and Zach is unfortunately struggling. No, I said 34. I had all the information and I still got it wrong. Oh no, it's fine. 5 players are eliminated. I got it absolutely right. Genius. I'm a genius. Definitely not cheating by saying it very, very late. As there's a potential that in the future, players in the server will be able to participate in our predictions game. I don't know the details. I don't have the info, and I have no idea when it might be. I'm just saying I get inside information in the admin Discord server where things get discussed. Maybe I'm spoiling things that they didn't want leaked. But then, I don't know, they shouldn't have put me on a microphone sick when my brain isn't working, because things will just come out of my mouth when I'm sitting here alone and ill. And speaking of alone, none of these players at the back. There's a lot of them down here at the moment, and we'll see who does fall back. Jaxie, unfortunately, you are a little bit alone at the back. No, Darrigan's here to keep you company, and so is Vevolution. Never mind, it's a party. It is a full party back here at the back of the pack at the moment. But this navigation, trying to keep speed for this uphill, does require taking these angles well, and Jaxie will manage to climb on through a player who is sitting near the top of the leaderboard, who has been at the top of some of these rounds. Mean is currently all the way down here as well, and that means a little bit of catch up to do. A very strong end needed for Mean towards the back half of the map. Around that corner, looking a little bit quicker, and has climbed up into 30th place. Jaxie safe as well for the time being. Hostile is down here as well, as is Darrigan, Slither, and Neko Jim. Some very strong players already starting to fall down. And that is potentially a result of, you know, the limited field that we start tonight with. We'll see if Hostile can cross the line. Who's safe? Hostile is safe. Ain't no way. Still out on track. Is crashing. Is struggling to make it to the line. Darrigan crossed in front, and it wouldn't have mattered anyway because Darrigan is eliminated too. But that's a part of the map I didn't think we'd be seeing many players exploring this early on, off behind the wagons at the start. In between rounds, uncheck, show nothing when... Okay, yeah. Show nothing when playback ends. Unchecked. Make sure there's no space after the URL. There is no space after the URL. Remove the input format. Removed. Okay. And if I now click the transition button again. Oh, click the transition button again. Yep. Yeah, flawless. Good job, me. Yeah, that's worked. Okay, let's fix that very quickly. But either way, we've done it. We have deployer stream. Huzzah. Good. Excellent. Windowed projector. Now I can spectate off my OBS output. Oh boy. Oh, there we go. It's working. Everything is working flawlessly, I think. Oh, it's lagging. Oh dear. Oh, it's lagging a little bit, but I'm sure that's almost 100% my fault if I've done something. I don't know. It's working well enough, and it means that we'll get to see things, and it means we may be just in time to see Mr. Babsify get knocked out outside the top 20, outside the top 25. Seko is in 11th place. Who knows what's going on down at the bottom of the field? There's players crossing the line. We're just seeing them cruise in around us. Jaxi, no, will be potentially eliminated. There's still a lot of players out on track here. Who's going to get across that line? It's a race to the finish. Babs beat out Neko Jim by less than a tenth. Oh, it's horrifying. Oh, the humanity. Never mind, Neko Jim didn't finish. What? Oh, he left, I think. Either way, crazy. Meanwhile, up at the top, Brinken will set a 101.952. A great time at the top. Blah. Absolute blah. What a moment. What a time to be alive. Whew. Boy, oh boy. And all the pressure now taken off me. I just get to sit here, relax, and enjoy the show from now on out. And what a show it is set to be as we head rapidly towards our top 20. Still, the Irish flag is in the mix, although I see Babs with a very poor exit there near the end. And I am looking at the wrong screen. That's why I was stuck without being able to see at the back. I was blaming deployers observing. It was, in fact, my fault. I was looking at my own game instead. Good job, me. I'm very clever. And look, it's probably fine. Yeah, like those messages are unrepeatable, but that's only because, well, I can't, because it's my fault. Also, the sound is still coming from my game, so you know what? In many ways, I have still failed in many basic tasks here. So let's do that. Let's swap off my sound. In fact, let me just exit Trackmania altogether, because that'll probably help things. That can't, look, it certainly can't hurt if I just leave. Hopefully me leaving in the middle of a round hasn't disrupted anyone's round. I'm sure it's probably fine. But we are now on board with Dobry. Black Pulse is still struggling a bit. I am seeing still deploy some occasional pauses from your side, but again, I must assume that's probably something that I've done wrong. And either way, well, we're going to see Dobry with a freeze frame at the top of the climb and then up the hill in time to be eliminated. As at the top, there was a round where Marius wins by 2,000ths. Things be wild up there. Things do, in fact, be crazy at the top. And, yeah. It's a round. We will see Jaxi eliminated. Utter devastation. I'm sure we'll get a freeze frame of this moment before the end, and maybe we can imagine that the server is crashed and... Oh, no, never mind. RIP to a real one. Jaxi eliminated, and with that, we will have 4 more players eliminated in this round. It will be our second last round of such. And we'll see exactly where we do end up with this round. We'll see exactly how things go. Black Pulse has managed to stay alive despite being near the elimination an awful lot so far, and will be safe for a little while longer on this round, it looks like, as well. A lot of other players starting to drop towards the back as Spaz now is climbing back towards that front, and we'll see players sliding out towards that tree on the side. Black Pulse will crash out on the uphill, so will Spaz. There's Black Pulse respawning again. I think that's a difficult respawn for Black Pulse. That seems, at the very least, to be the case. Spaz will make it up this time. Black Pulse will as well. On to this turnaround, on to this flip, and it will be slightly cleaner for Black Pulse than either of the 2 drivers around him, and that should mean a climb back towards the front. Yeah, it does. It's an overtake on Looker's Turbo 2. Back alongside the Thief of Pigs. Valeur de Porc is just in front. Spaz versus Jozo towards the back. At least they were when they went through the checkpoint. Matteo, having climbed up from 22nd place, will overtake Spaz. And we'll see where things stand as we head towards our next checkpoint. Jozo is just about holding on, but at the finish line, I'm not sure anyone's failed in front. I'm not sure there's enough. There is. There's plenty of fails in front, including Looker's Turbo, who drops all the way down, all the way out of fear. I fear her. Something is going to be the 18th player through. Matteo of Evolution, Spaz, and Turbo will be eliminated on this round. How does... I forgot we were telling stories. Oh, boy. So do you know what, Jaxie? You remember there were the spires, the big castles last week. You'll see them at the end as well here when we cut back to my screen, because I do have the space conveyance in my background at the moment. Mini RPG of the week, it absolutely has a story. One that we are making up on the fly, week in, week out. And probably I'll have to record it, because I won't be here for a couple of weeks. Unfortunately, Trackmania Challenger League will be taking up my Wednesday evenings. Last week, I actually don't remember what the story we told was. But this one ties into the story, because this castle is actually being preserved by the spacefaring culture that built last week's map, because you can see the same architecture being preserved. This castle, it's a precursor to the spires that were built in last week's map. And so this is down on the surface of the planet. Actually, the spires are just off in the distance. They're not being rendered because of draw distance. And yeah, that's the story. Ooh, that's brutal. Oh, that's Black Pulse. And well, this map may be in the history of his own map from last week, but well, he's looking to become history on this round. Crashing out a couple of times at that checkpoint is going to make life incredibly difficult trying to catch back up, but we may see Ice eliminated as well, just about holding on in front of a few chasing players. There's a fear jumping off the beam. Sin doesn't have the speed. Ice stayed well alive. Brinken makes it across the line as well. Seko, I believe, is not across the line just yet, will eventually cross the line. Sorry, did cross the line in 14th place. And Black Pulse will be eliminated ultimately in 15th. The story of season 3, it's not necessarily in reverse time. Maybe this is a flashback. I choose to believe that this is a monument down on the surface. It's being preserved because you can see there's a lot of water around, you know? They just make the effort to preserve this down in history. Now, maybe in future weeks, we'll get a little bit more explanation as to why the culture that built Space Conveyance, who clearly are, you know, reaching for the stars at this point, have chosen to preserve this as an important piece of their history. Maybe Histo can give us a little bit of insight at some point into exactly why the builders of this castle have chosen to preserve it. I mean, it's not being fully preserved. It's being allowed to go a little bit wild, but maybe it's symbolic. Maybe their ties to nature are being emphasized here as reclaiming their heritage. Who knows? Honestly, look, we all know that I'm pulling this out of my ass, so it's true. It is definitely also a tough map. And Dobry, I don't know if you were here as we talked about it earlier, but Histo has said that he plans to turn this into a longer map as well, is aiming to turn it into a potentially 3, 4, 5 minute long RPG map as well, reusing the same castle. And with the amount of work that has gone into this castle, whether it's in the story that we are telling here or whether it is by the mapper, it's definitely worth building on, definitely worth looking to turn this into a little bit more in the future. This is a tight race to the line. I think Babs has it. Valeur de Porc is there. Edis fell off as well and will DNF. Valeur de Porc not quite able to make it in. And that will be 13th place. And Babs still alive after a few tough early checkpoints, after a few tough early rounds. After a few tough early checkpoints, I say, as Hazard is complaining a little bit about the early checkpoints. Not complaining about them, but maybe nervous that he doesn't have them on lock just yet. And you can see some different lines just through that first turn. Some players going a little bit wider, prioritizing taking speed out of it. Some players looking to keep it a little bit tighter and trusting that they have the skill to retain gears and keep it. And then from here on out, at that turn right there, as we head into the second grass slide, becomes a little bit of a bloodbath. Players bouncing around off the map. Definitely a chance that a rebuilt map will have some incredibly tough angles in it. Definitely going to be tight, but I think if it remains at this difficulty and is just a little bit longer, maybe not a hunt, but definitely a fun one to play through a few times. And I think I might play it, go for a gold medal. I can't see myself getting near an author medal after what Histo did, showing up and setting some very strong times. 103 in the 15-minute warm-up, I believe he had. We'll see how players go now on this round. Things are starting to get tight. Sapphire is a little bit adrift at the back, but Brinken is still inside. Only a couple of turns ahead, and this jump right here could cause issues. Brinken's landing is clean enough that surely he'll be able to get to the line fast enough. No one falling off that beam in front. Brinken safely across the line, but Jozo didn't finish. Jozo will drop out, forced to respawn, and that final checkpoint will be eliminated. It's an 11th place finish. It's just outside the top 10. Oh, what a rough way to go out. Absolutely brutal. But there it goes. The marble effect, yeah. Snowball effect, marble effect. Is it marble effect in some different languages? I could see it being that for sure. As we will jump into this. Oh, I see Formal playing Trackmania. That's unusual. I don't know if that came up on stream. It certainly, I'm pretty sure it did. Deployer just casually name dropping via his notifications from Epic Games. But, you know, that's nice. It's nice. Oh no, maybe it just came up for me. I don't know. It came up on my screen. I'm name dropping myself. Oh, I keep calling Deployer out for things, but it's my computer, my brain. I'm sick. Everyone leave me alone and focus on the racing instead. Marius is still in the competition, but it may not be for all that much longer. I backed the Safemeister in the back half of this map, though, as he does look to keep up, as he does look to overtake Ice and Mean both down here. Bueno too. Atalanta is a little way behind all of these players, but it certainly is a cluster of our top 10 now. Very few mistakes early in the map. Bueno is going to cruise on through. Atalanta will be in last place. Ice will be in as Babs is eliminated in 9th place. Bueno is there, and what a round. All players within 3 seconds. Babs can't believe it, and you cannot blame him. It is one mistake more than you can make at this point. It wasn't even really a big mistake from Babs on that final beam, just losing a few tenths maybe and dropping on out. Can't afford those, and there's an early mistake from Sapphire. Mean with a little bit of a mistake as well. It's hard to call a mistake. He's just slow on the exit from the bug slide, but it is going to cost him time. Who's that dropping back? I believe Marius dropping back out of that bug slide as well. Could mean he's a long way down. No, it's not Marius. He's all the way up the front. It was Vortex who's dropped behind a little bit as well on that second bug slide. And he will now be looking to catch back up. On the uphill we go through this engine off block. All these players safely through, cleanly through, as we're deep into our top 10. This turnaround is a struggle for some more than others, but it's allowed Vortex to stay on Atalanta's tail lights. It's allowed Vortex to maybe still make the comeback happen, as there is Atalanta with a slower exit. Again, not a mistake, the smallest of errors, but it's trading tenths backwards and forwards. It's just better lines between these players at the moment. More speed for Vortex and Atalanta. It looks like not quite, as the landing is a little bit better. It might still be the snipe. It is at the line, as Vortex will beat out Atalanta by just over a tenth. Whoo! What a race to the line. As Brinken, meanwhile, at the top is setting a 1:01.509. What a clean time. No idea where it ranks on the leaderboard. I'm currently missing those, but that's just me complaining every time Deployer turns them off so we can get a better view. That's very unfair of me. There they are. 1:01.509 is indeed the best time anyone has set on the map. All right, Deployer, take him away. Let's focus on the action as we get back in to 1 elimination per round. And Mean is the player currently sitting in last, but it's the first turn. How much weight does that hold? Not much. Vortex on this first grass slide exit will now be trying to chase them down. There's players going for a cut there. I didn't even notice it until now, and honestly neither of Mean and Vortex, and no wonder they are losing a second to the competition. They are behind as a result of not going for that same little cut to the left on that second grass slide, I should say. That's very interesting indeed. Is it intended? Did Histo know it was there? God knows. But it is there, and players will have to take advantage of it. It may not matter for Mean and Vortex in this round. Ice with a big mistake is going to be a long way down. May even be out of the competition altogether, despite the fact that Ice has been one of the fastest drivers tonight on the track. He will be eliminated as Mean and Vortex both cross the line. Wait, Brinken? Brinken has not crossed the line, is climbing the hill there over to the side, will make it across the line. 10 seconds behind Hazard, who set another local record, but it is nonetheless Ice eliminated. Hazard is now probably going in with the chance to remain the leader. The only player to win so far in Mini RPG of the Week Season 3. Won Week 1, looking to win Week 2. If there is a story for Season 3, it's up to Hazard to make sure that he is the protagonist, but a turn like that on the first turn, maybe not going to help him out. It's okay. He recovered it despite a wider first bug slide. Plenty of speed. Mean, not as practiced on this cut as the other players. Maybe it shows. Maybe it doesn't, as Brinken heads face first into a wall. And all of a sudden, the pressure... Is it off? Is it on the other players? As they need to now just not make the mistakes. They should be safe. But if they make a big mistake like Vortex has, then they are not safe at all. And all of a sudden, it's Brinken who is on the race. It's Brinken who is trying to pull away from Vortex and stay safe. Vortex will be looking to carry this one on through, and I do love the idea of finding the warm-up, especially a warm-up like that does not look that difficult, that you find it in rounds and then maybe you don't pull it out until you need it later on. Brinken will cross the line. Vortex, with a mistake in the middle of the map, will finish in 5th place today. And it's Hazard, Mean, Marius and Brinken heading into our top 4. Hazard has just set another new local record. That's that's quick. 1 minute and 9 seconds, and I'm going to give credit to Histo here as well for absolutely nailing his prediction on what would be a good time in these rounds. We don't always see that from our drivers. I think it's a credit to Histo as both a very experienced mapper and a very good player as well, that he is able to predict how fast these players will be. And bear in mind, that's with this shortcut. So I don't know. Did Histo know about the shortcut? There's a chance. Or Histo's just not seeing these players get everything they could out of the map just yet. Also definitely a possibility. A map like this with so many awkward jumps is potentially not one that is going to be pushed to its limit without players hunting it a little bit in TimeAttack or hunting it themselves offline, doing whatever they want with it after the fact. And either way, well, Mean's going to have to be pushing it. Mean is going to have to set an excellent finish here because he is behind by about 7/10 heading around the last few corners off this map. There's only one final jump. There's one final beam. Mean risks it, and he goes so far to the left that he's actually cost themselves time. And it's going to mean Mean eliminated in 4th place. A good effort to throw everything at that final jump. But it is Hazard, it is Marius, and it is Brinken into our top 3. It has not been long since Hazard won a mini RPG of the week. It's been exactly 7 days. It has been a while longer since Marius walked away with mini RPG of the week win. And I don't know if he's still the winningest player of all time in mini RPG of the week, but he is certainly up there. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if these are 2 of the most winning players of all time of mini RPG of the week. Players like Lars also spring to mind with the 3-week run he managed to put together last season, winning 3 on the trot. But either way, these 2 definitely have their names in the hat for it. But in this round, they are the players whose names are dropping into the red. Marius versus Hazard. And it's Hazard who has a little bit of the edge. More speed on the uphill. Engine off means that he starts to pull away. In fact, is even hauling back in Brinken's lead. It's a little bit of a rough turnaround, but it is rough for Marius as well, as Hazard continues to extend away. Now nearly up to a full second where they were alongside, and it's not a mistake. It's just good, clean driving from Hazard, who is an absolute menace out on track at the moment. Marius on the chase, but is Marius hoping for a tight finish? It is going to be Brinken and Hazard within a 10th. Marius 4/10 behind. Great race, great job by Marius to pull them back in as well. And it is an all-Nordic final. Sweden versus Denmark. Brinken looking to do it for Sweden, as it will be Hazard looking to do it one more time for the Danes. I'll be honest, the setting is neither particularly Danish nor particularly Swedish. But I mean, hey, both of them are nautical countries, I guess. I don't know. We'll see how things go. Hazard has an early lead. Brinken is looking to gain back, and he will have to regain nearly 8 tenths behind. That can't be right. That's so far. It looks right as Hazard is pulling further away up the uphill. Brinken has great speed though, and he will haul in a huge amount of that lead. 3 tenths gained back by a better entry, and Hazard has made the mistake. He's looking to recover, but a recovery is all he gets. He doesn't have to respawn, doesn't even have speed just to make it up and bonk his head off that cross beam, but he's over a second and a half behind. Brinken just needs to carry it to the end. Brinken needs to not make a mistake, and it is Sweden across the line. It will be Sweden with a win. Hazard has made another error. Brinken doesn't need to do anything. He gets across the line. A 102 is good enough, and Brinken will win Mini RPG of the Week Season 3 Week 2. Oh, it's true. Hazard, he has to have those fingers hovering the minus. Just an awful turn around there for him. I mean, disaster. But, I mean, no, I'm joking. It's an incredible map, and I think everyone agreeing that was a very, very enjoyable one indeed. And unfortunately, with it being over, that means it's time to head back to my face for just a little while longer. As we say, that is the end of Mini RPG of the Week Season 3's Week 2. Thank you all very much for joining us here tonight. Congratulations to Brinken winning it out in the all-Nordic battle in the top 2 for Sweden, managing to take down the Danes. And, well, puts his name at the top of that leaderboard. One of only 2 winners in Season 3 so far. With that said, Hazard has not finished outside the top 2 just yet either. And that's pretty impressive as far as these things go too. We're looking forward to seeing what the rest of Season 3 will bring. As always, if you think you could map for Mini RPG of the Week, if you'd even like to try your hand at it, get in contact with Zeterate, our main admin over in the RPG Discord, Nightbot, helpfully posting links to that as per usual. And of course, we'd love to see you playing it as well. We get some great maps in here, and, well, great maps deserve great competition. We love to see what the players can bring. Thank you all for joining us here. I will not see you next week. Join us for a guest cast, as I will be over on the Trackmania channel for the Challenger League. Unfortunately, I'd rather be here. I'd rather be with you. But that's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next week for Mini RPG of the Week Season 3, Week 3. It's Week 3. It's Season 3. There's a lot of threes, and you'll want to make sure that you are here. I've found the transition button, and I'll see you around.